have the shows gotten under high drama skin? Thornton Wilder's The Skin of Our Teeth follows the Antrobus family as they biblically navigate the Ice Age war and other disasters that allude to Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark, and Cain and Abel. Aaron Arbus has directed this unwieldy wild play with such a strong focus that even though it literally goes all over the map, a sense of place is solid and the humor remains intact throughout all the crazy scenarios. Mary Weissman is perfect as Sabina, the maid in Mrs. Antrobus. Without her, it would be a WTF play. It's as iridescent as a bubble and just as fragile. And Thornton Wilder is brilliant at showing people off in their true human conditions. We may be hanging right now from the skin of our teeth, but this production gives one hope and is a perfect antidote against our hideous president.
At Le Mama, you have a rare opportunity to see Jean Genet's 1947 play, The Maids, Les Bonnes, in its original French, directed by Oliver Hensler. It concerns two sisters who are the servants to Madame. The maids take turns playing the mistress and chastising one another. They wear the mistress's dresses and speak like her. Madame is preoccupied because her lover has been arrested, and you wonder, like, will the maids get away with their games or will it prove fatal to someone? I thought this was a good try, but they didn't really differentiate enough between when they're maids and when they're the mistress, and the mistress was talking too crassly like a maid as well. So it's a nice try, but mixed.
Alan Hruska's Ring Twice for Miranda is about this dystopian world that Bina and I couldn't wait to get away from. We thought all the acting was very good considering they were in this dreadful play, but it came to no conclusions, had no message that I could figure out, was completely WTF pointless. He has created this murderous, cannibalistic world, but no reason why or how it got that way. If you take away the motivating forces of power and sex, then what is left? Stick with a dead-end job or retreat into a dead world? I am not a fan of apocalyptic stories unless they are done by vampire cowboys. Ring Twice for Miranda just doesn't ring true. We both hated this.
At the Vineyard is the new Candarin Pierce musical, Kid Victory, about a boy who disappears from his fundamentalist community and family, and when he comes back after a year, having been abducted, everybody wants him to be the same as he was before, except the bohemian woman who has a yard and knick-knack store who he works for and who he befriends. It's unusual to see Jeffrey Denman playing the bad guy and Karen Ziemba as an unsympathetic mother, but it's a wonderful score and a really complex and exciting musical.
I love Candor music. I'm so glad he's discovered Greg Pierce, who does these wonderful lyrics. And the mother, Karen Ziemba, you might think she's like, oh, she's this smothering, awful woman, but if you're a mother like me, and I do this all the time, I mean, I had this grown-up kid in front of me, and I miss my baby. It's like, where's my baby in that? It doesn't even matter whether he's been kidnapped or gone away or whatever. It's a feeling a mother always has. So you know where she's coming from.
But it's still very destructive to this kid.
Yes, but then you have the actually destructive, creepy Jeffrey Denman, who shows sometimes a bit kindness and tenderness. So it's very complex the way, and the father will surprise you the way he doesn't seem like he's there, but he comes through in the end, and the music is so fantastic, and it's very clever the way they have it, where the protagonist never sings. Everyone else sings, but not him. So it just adds to it. I mean, this is just so brilliantly clever, and it's
he's a very great young actor.
Yeah, what's his name? We should say his name. It's Brandon Flynn. And Liesl Tommy, she is such an amazing director. She directed Ruined last year. She really knows how to do she really knows her stuff. And it was just, but it has such great people in it. And Joel Bloom, who you might know from Steel Piers Day and Candor Time. So definitely happy face.
Yeah, make sure you see it.
Tracy Letts' Man from Nebraska starts out very promising. Short, silent scenes establish Ken and Nancy's marriage and deep faith. All goes awry when Ken decides he doesn't believe in God anymore and has a crisis in faith. His reverend solution is to take a holiday away from everyone and everything. He ends up in London, where he's stationed during the war, and he meets this bartender and this artist, and he meets a woman from the plane, and then it turns into this midlife crisis. And this poor wife, she's like Penelope and Odysseus. You know, she looks after his mother. She looks after the angry daughter. She looks, you know, she has suitors. It's just, but it's really good. I liked it a lot. It's not Tracy Letts. It's a story about people with real problems without adding his usual icky shock value, which was a plus for a change. Annette O'Toole, Rita Burney are just wonderful. I'm giving this a happy face minus because you don't see religious faith crises plays very much. So that was an interesting thing to explore.
Labyrinth presents Dolphins and Sharks, written by James Anthony Tyler, directed by Charlotte Brathwaite, and it concerns office politics in a Harlem copy shop, and, you know, like the Latino woman who gets promoted to manager and how she has to deal with the other people working there, and how upper management is sort of playing people against each other, and how the community is trying to save Harlem from the bad effects of gentrification. I thought it was well written, well directed, really good performers, but there's so much flashing light and strobe effects in the video that I, who normally am not affected by that, got queasy, and I know Eva couldn't see this at all, and other people who might have vertigo should miss it. So I give it a happy face minus because of those special problems.
Virginia Beata has written herself a plum part in her noir play Damaged Goods. She plays Thomas Sparks, a private detective who is more private than Dick. It is filled with the usual suspects of rich old man, hot young women, including the loyal secretary, duplicitous characters of all sorts, a mysterious gangster, and an all-knowing street urchins. Those wigs and costumes by Samira Solranquillo and Chris Weichel were wonderful contributions to the atmosphere and characters, our favorite being the Secretary Apple Pie's outfit. This is from me and Claudia. The actors were uniformly magnificent as they embellished their roles with panache. They relished in the drama and the parody within the play. One-liners fly fast and furious. Not even a bout of vertigo could keep me from enjoying this immensely, and that is with a lot of plot twists and turns. You won't feel cheated by these damaged goods, and me and Claudia gives us both major happy face.
New York Theater Workshop is totally transformed into an installation space for Jeff Sabell's The Object Lesson, and he is sort of a very talented mime and magician, and he's rummaging through all these boxes, finding incredible things, and some of his stories are very long-winded, but
they have a point. And you might know him from All Men Wear Bowler Hats, which he did a long time ago. And one of the boxes had all this stuff from there. In fact, go there early because you get to rummage through all the boxes and everything, and you get your own little box seat. Literally, it's a box seat. Go on.
And some of the stuff he did, there's an incredibly well choreographed dinner scene and very clever things about
with ice skates,
re-recording dialogue and using it in a different context. But I was bored a lot, and a lot of people walked out.
I wasn't. It shows how one's attitudes changes over time and locale. He is constantly shifting and changing the meaning of objects and conversation. And there's more that meets the eyes and ears in recorded messages and what you find in boxes. And I thought this was a unique, theatrical, and possibly life-changing experience. So I'm giving it a happy face.
Yawn. Mixed. This is Kristen Hardwick's review of Kyle, which is written by Hollis James, directed by Emily Owens, one of our favorite PR people, and produced by Frigid New York at Horse Trade. Hot Tramp Productions delivers on their mission that each darkly comic show a secret handshake for cool kids. It's the story of Kyle presented with an abundance of spunk and tidbits of humor, telling their difficult story that affects Jack's new relationship with Kyle, his typically loyal girlfriend, and finding it increasingly intolerable to be around him, and his best friend and boss who's losing patience with him because the drug dealers are too accommodating. And his friend Kyle stays with him as he goes down a path of self-destruction. It's all of this plus the great performances made Kristen give this a happy face, and there's a lot more on Facebook.
Greg Codis' lunchtime is a screwball noir a trois. Charlie McDaniels is tired of his wife and clinging mistress and hires Cop to dig up information on his latest fantasy. As Nina and Louise both work for Charlie, this gets pretty dicey. On top of this menage a trois, there is a deli war to investigate, which eager waiter Nicky is hoping to crack because he wants to be a cop. Will Nicky achieve his dreams of being a cop? Will Nina win back Charlie's love? Will Louise be able to escape Charlie's unwanted advances? Will Stuart figure out who is behind the deli wars before it gets out of hand? This is silly fun entertainment expertly handled by the cast. And you should have no reservations about seeing Lunchtime Happy Face. In Halliday, Zamboni Godot is like a fun, clever concept fringe show, and since we are not getting a fringe festival this year, this might compensate you. Beckett's existential duo, Gogo and Dee, find themselves in many frustrating situations where they are forced to wait. Of the 18 locales, some worked better than others, and after a while it almost became too much of a good thing. And for once, I found Godot funny. They really were like a Laurel and Hardy routine, as they were in the ER and the DMV and Verizon store, times when there were all these strange situations, and Marjorie Duffield and Chris Lindsay-Abaire made a very appealing pair as they bickered about food, going to the bathroom, and just wanting to pack it in already. And I give this a happy face minus. And it's in rep with Zamboni Good. It's in rep with Lunchtime at the Brick.
The new group is presenting All the Fine Young Boys, written and directed by Erica Schmidt, scenic design by Amy Rubin, and it concerns two 14-year-old middle school girls, Jenny and Emily, who are spending an evening together watching slasher films about teenage girls in danger. They know they're cuddly and safe together, but will they be equally safe in their first relationships with guys? Emily gets involved with an older teenage boy who's a bit of a rebel, and Jenny goes home with a church friend who's twice her age. Which one will be in more danger?
And the thing is, they're watching these horror films, so you think they know better than to antagonize angry people, for goodness sake. And I like the contrast that the mixed-up teen showed more restraint than the church-going adult. And I know I like this more than you, but then I was a teenage girl and you weren't, so I could relate to this a little bit better than you.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good, but not great, so I gave it mixed to, slightly minus. But the acting's good.
And I'm giving it a happy face minus. And I must say, Erica Schmidt knows how to direct teen angst stories very well. And you thought there was a disconnect you wanted to mention?
Yeah, between the script as written and the performers. There's some mention of a guy looking like Tom Cruise, and he looks nothing like him. There's another thing about one girl is talking about the other one's boobs popping out while hers are much bigger. So it's just some things that distracted me needlessly.
This is Bob Creso's review of Nibbler, written by Ken Urban, directed by Benjamin Kamini, presented by the Immoralists in association with Rattlestick Theater Playwrights Theater. It begins in classic and brisk form. In 1991, 5 graduating high school seniors get together in a diner and talk about their lives. There are problems with their parents, who will go to what college, who is a virgin and who may be gay, and how graduation may affect their relationships. Finally, edge characters are quickly identified. It's a time for big decisions which will affect their relationships. Enter Nibbler, a mysterious extraterrestrial who dramatically alters the personalities of anyone he nibbles on. It's a funny, engaging, superbly acted, sharply observed coming-of-age comedy, drama, sci-fi mix with a musical ending. The mixed genres keep us entertained, but also take things a little off track at times, causing the play to lose some of its focus. The seeds of this play come from the horror of 9/11, and he gives it a happy face. More on Facebook.
Scott Siegel opened his 17th season Broadway by the Year Town Hall with an evening of 1920s Broadway songs. This was a great decade for the established genre of the operetta and the new upcoming spirit of jazz. William Michaels used his large opera-trained voice for Song of Vagabonds and other operatic things. Let's see. Beth Malone was a flapper in jazzy Love Me or Leave Me and Fanny Brice's My Man. Jill Pace had More Than You Know and I Can't Give You Anything but Love. Mary Testa was brilliant in Find Me a Primitive Man with Scott Siegel going with a big club after her. There was so many other great things. Carol Lee Carmelo did Someone to Watch Over Me and The Man I Love. These are all
And Danny Gardner was dancing.
Yeah, great tap dancing, and Robert Cuccioli was also great. And
oh, my heart stood still when he sings.
yes, so we both love this.
Two
and
happy
we love
faces.
all of it. We have to give it two happy
No,
faces.
you're making it negative.
Two happy faces. And the next one, the 40s, is coming up March 27th. You don't want to miss it.
Barry and I saw Louisiana Purchase, which is this Irving Berlin musical about corrupt corporate people, and this Republican sees true blue Republican who sees red and tries to stop them, and it's got great songs, it's really fun. It closed, the reviews on the Facebook page. But coming up next for musicals tonight is Anything Goes, which is called Porter, which has all those classics. I Get a Kick Out of You, and Blow Gabriel Blow, and then after that will be Do Barry Was a Lady. So look to our Facebook page for the reviews of these things, because they might be closed by the time we have a chance to talk to them. And as always, musicals tonight will always get a happy face. I mean, what they do with these young talents is brilliant.
And coming up at the 92nd Street Y is another installment of their great series, Lyrics and Lyricists, Baby Dream Your Dream, focusing on Dorothy Fields and the women of the American Songbook. And it's the weekend of March 18th, 19th, and 20th. And I'm sure it'll be brilliant. They're always great. I'm sure it's a happy face.
And after musicals, tonight's Cole Porter's Anything Goes, you can see their little known The New Yorkers and Encores. And it's got some incredible people in it. Those wonderful comic actors, Arnie Burton, Kevin Chamberlain, Eddie Corbett, Byron Jennings, and Ruth Williamson. It's directed by John Rando. And I saw the last thing they did was Big River, the musical version of Huckleberry Finn, which you can find the review on our Facebook page. But I love Encores. Oh, it's wonderful what they do. So again, happy face, and you want to see that because that's going on March 22nd through 26th. Go to the Encores New Yorkers.
Leslie DeLeo got to see Buffy Sainte-Marie at Lincoln Center's American Songbook Jazz at Lincoln Center. And the Apple Room at Lincoln Center's Rose Hall, with its glass window backdrop, is always sure to dazzle and enhance the magical feeling of the show. Buffy Sainte-Marie is a singer of anti-war songs and pro-native rights, mostly from the 60s and 70s. She's now 76, but she looked like she was in her 40s. And Leslie said, we need the voice and the attitude of Buffy more now than ever, given the age of Trump. She gave it a major happy face, and coming up as part of Lincoln Center's Penthouse series, March 27th, Matt Gould and Griffin Matthews, who did the musical Invisible Thread, will be performing, and I'm sure you don't want to miss that.
And happy face.
So it gets a happy face, and basically anything. Jazz at Lincoln Center is another one of our favorites. There's so many great things in New York.
Okay, we are at Jen Silverman's The Moors, directed by Mike Donahue by the Playwrights Realm. This is the most wonderful play. Oh my gosh, talk about your atmosphere. You've got these two sisters and a diary, and a governess arrives, and a chambermaid that keeps changing her names and positions, and a dog, and a moorhen, and unlikely love stories. And now Mark's going to talk some more, but this was just brilliant. The acting, everything about this is just phenomenal. Oh, and I am going to give this a major happy face. You want to visit the moors.
Yeah, I really agree with Eva on this one. It was a delightful play. And I love seeing Birgit Huppuk as this fame-obsessed girl from the moors who is not a good writer but is trying to reveal all her personal thoughts, and this sort of evil other sister who's very controlling, and the governess who changes character, influenced by the savagery of the Moors. This is really a wonderful play.
I mentioned the dog and the hen.
Well, you did. But at any rate, you must see this. Take care.
Okay, the Debate Society has got the Light Years going on right now at Playwrights Horizon. It's about Steele MacKay and the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, where he made this incredible spectatorium, and it was supposed to 40 years later light up in 1933 World's Fair at Chicago with the star Arcturus. And so you have the electricians in 1893, and then you have another family in 1933 with the little boy who's really obsessed with the Zeppelin, and his father's a jingle rider, and in 1893 the electrician's wife is obsessed with the bicycle. So they're all obsessed with these like modern events that are going to happen. And Steele MacKay was this incredible actor and impresario, and I love this play. It evoked the same feeling that Arcadia had in me. This feeling of such tremendous loss that comes, and wanting, and future, and past, and everything together. And the Debate Society is my all-time favorite theater company, and I just love Hannah Boss, Paul Thoreen, and Oliver Butler. And this is unlike anything they've ever created before, and it's just marvelous. And Mark's going to talk some more, and I'm giving this your happy face. You really want to see this one.
It's rather loud here because we're at opening night for the Moors, so I couldn't really hear what Eva said. But it's another one I agree on. I really liked The Light Years, and I thought it was amazing about the danger and the excitement, like electricity, of being an artist, and how, people strive for years to create something, and either they can do it or they can't do it. And it was really a lovely, fine piece. I'm giving it a happy face as well. Two great things in 2 days.
In Sholem Asha's Powerful God of Vengeance, a father tries to keep his pure daughter away from the family business, which is a whorehouse, which is downstairs. Parents have dreams for their children, and the sacrifices, often accompanied by tyrannical demands, are still with us. Women can still find a sense of freedom in odd and outlaw social spaces. While Asha's play is still powerful, Mark Sabat found the Paula Vogel gloss on it with Indecent more totally absorbing and compelling, and Indecent's going to be back on Broadway April 4th. So anyway, Mark gave it a happy face, and it's back, and Leslie DeLeo's going to see it at some point. So you'll find those reviews and everything else we've been talking about on our Facebook page and Twitter, and especially the Light Years and the Moors, where we'll have more chance to talk about it without having to do it so quickly on the fly like we did. Inside is this wonderful immersive thing at St. John the Divine. Tried to see Fishman, but the snow kept me from it. And hopefully we'll get to see the Bar Tokyo Hotel at Tennessee Williams before it closes on March 25th. And the Omega Kids looks good. And Anything Goes, I'm seeing March 17th. The Other Place has something by Bika Brentstetter in it, whom I adore. Mark saw God of Vengeance at La Mama, and now is at Theater at St. Clement's Church. And these two look so good at New Victory, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to see them.
And I'm trying to see Give Us Bread concert March 19th. It's about some female history from 1917. And Scott Siegel's Broadway by There's Always a Winner. Performateria is all these, like 20 theater companies doing this immersive thing all over Baruch College. I'm going March 20th. It's going to be so cool. I love immersive theater, you may have noticed. All these cabarets. You should check them out because they always have good shows there. Not only is Damaged Goods, but Haram Iran also is at Tada, part of EAT. New York City Center has 3 different theaters with 3 amazing things going on. You have Ring Twice for Miranda, which is not amazing, it's horrible. Then there's Linda, which I'm seeing, and Encores in New Yorkers, which will be wonderful, I know that. And Mark is going to see Chess Match at Abingdon because it's a city company in Ann Bogart. We're seeing The Terrifying at Abrams Art Center. 92nd Street Y, we told you about Lyrics and Lyricists. And Will Friedwald's Clip Joints. He's going to do American Songbook Women's, I guess, in conjunction with the lyrics. Will Friedwald is so knowledgeable, and he has all these wonderful clips that you've never seen before of all these amazing people. And Theater for the New City, Claude Solnick, who's a brilliant playwright, and Robert Kahn's Ghostlight Now and Then. Those should be really good at Theater for the New City. Culture Mart's always good at here. The Bricks has 3 Sisters, as well as Zamboni, Godot, and Lunchtime. I would love to see everything going on at 59th Street. I hope I can fit it all in. It all looks so spectacular. And La Mama always has cool stuff. Last Days of Judas Iscariot, Springtime and Nikki, Land with Nikki Paraiso, Benghazi, Bergson, Belson, should be very moving. It's about Iranian Jews in the Holocaust, and of course, lots of stuff going on at BAM, which hopefully we'll get to do. A Nunsuch Celebration has Katie Lang and my favorite Mandy Patinkin. So I'm hoping to do that April 1st. And The Kitchen has some brilliant stuff. Half Straddle, I love him because of Jess Berbiglia is in that. Villa at Wild Project is good. I'm seeing everything at the Signature Theater. You can find our reviews eventually on the Facebook page. And don't forget the Light Years at Light Years. I'm going to see the Penitent Atlantic Theater Company. And plays we're going to talk about on our next show. Lots of closed shows that we reviewed on the Facebook page, including we saw Scott Siegel Jewish Broadway. Don't forget to pick up your Performing Arts Insider, the cultural heartbeat of New York City. There's so much going on, especially April's coming up with all the Broadway. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and go to our Facebook page.